Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad. Your dad doesn't support you.
You should know. You worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty broadcast, episode number 200 and also 7, I think. Look at the goddamn episode title. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined, as I sometimes am, by my good little tiny buddy Tanner. Tanner, how you doing? You going wheeling tomorrow, is that correct? You going wheeling?
Stop.
Keep wheeling. What?
That's
you guys blast Limp Bizkit on the way out there, or what? On the trail?
I haven't heard
wheeling.
I haven't heard Limp Bizkit since I was probably in like 7th grade was last time, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Drink some beers, throw them out the window like all the bros do.
Do you guys drink and drive? That would be fun to do on the trail.
No.
Is it illegal to do if you're not on a road?
Of course it's illegal. Yeah, it's still illegal. Drinking and driving is illegal.
But there's nothing there, man. What are you going to hit? A cactus? Who gives a shit? You know?
Drive off the road, hit someone else. Those would all the pieces of shit that call it wheeling are the same ones that drink and drive. No, I think those guys are cringe. I think they're embarrassing. It's always the bros. It's always the white supremacists, the rednecks. It's those guys that do that shit. I know one of them. He lives down the street from us. Real fucking scumbag. Real piece of shit.
Real piece of shit, yeah.
Drinks and off-roads, yeah.
Got it. Well, interesting. If I was off-roading and I was not... If there's no traffic light within a mile of me, I'm getting hammered before I drive.
I mean, last time, this trip we're doing, me, Gabe, Joey, and Ben did this.
Gabe was tossed,
6 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. We took my dad's old Jeep, which was both of ours at the time. Vodka. And Ben brought his Ford Explorer, and we did the same trip. And like the whole time, like I was like driving, and like Gabe was drinking in the passenger seat, but it's like I didn't actually drive and drink now. I don't even think I drank back then, actually, now that I think about it. I probably would have been just flying off the road, just absolutely wasted, yeah.
Interesting. Well, anyways. Sorry, lag's confusing me. It's ! Add command, I think. Don't I already have that command? I think I do. The tournament command. Let's take a look. Anyways, if you are new here, by the way, we have timestamps. Yeah. We have timestamps and learn how to spell lag. Thanks. Learn how to type. Thanks. Yeah, we have timestamps, so if you want to skip the announcements, you can do that. Today, we are talking about, so just go into the video description or the show notes so you can see when we start talking about whatever content you're interested in. Because some of you, if this is like your first time listening, maybe you don't want to listen to the announcements. You should. You will. You will. But
you will
for
eventually.
now, if you want to skip them for now and then come back at a later time to listen to these announcements, maybe a year from now, you should do that. So, anyways, that option is on the table. Welcome to the show. Now, today, we are going to be talking about our Season 2 first impressions with respect to Warzone. And this is an episode topic that should come as no surprise to those of you who've been listening for a while. We've been talking about this since before Season 2 came out. This is almost always what we do on a Saturday following a new season, and today will be no different. Before that, a couple of announcements. Welcome to our new gold patron, TZ Reaps. Change it. Thanks, buddy. Honored to have you here. Don't make an anime profile picture on Patreon, though, right? Certainly don't do that. Number one. But thanks and welcome aboard, buddy. Brock Do you know anyone named Brock, Tanner? Besides Brock Lesnar?
No, yeah, I've like seen the name and heard the name online, but I've never actually met anyone named Brock. No.
Very weird.
I knew someone named Brock. Yeah.
Really?
I can think of someone named Brock. Real douchebag. Yeah.
Real piece of shit.
Yeah, real piece of shit.
Was he an adult man with blonde hair?
He was, at the time that I knew him, he was like early 20s, I think, with blonde hair. He was like a lifeguard. Yeah, real piece of shit.
Oh, lifeguard. Interesting. Yeah. So here's pro tip for those of you listening. If you meet an adult man with blonde hair, don't trust him. I don't trust adult men with blonde hair.
No.
It's weird. Be older, have brown hair. If you want to be a boy with blonde hair, I was a boy with blonde hair, but then my balls dropped and I don't have blonde hair anymore. Grown men do not have blonde hair. Dye your hair if you need to. I don't know, but grown men, blonde hair, they don't mix. Don't trust those people. So anyways,
usually killers. Yeah.
So fuck you, Brock. Because I know you're a grown-ass man with blonde hair, but welcome aboard, Chief. And I appreciate it. Our new platinum patron. Also, the Mexican mogul has upgraded to fucking Damascus. Let's absolutely go. I guess the Mexican mogul is a Mexican European of stripe.
I was about to say, why is he paying in euros when his name's the Mexican mogul?
It is interesting because as California natives, Tanner and I are very familiar with the Mexican people. Tanner has married one, in fact.
I haven't seen a white person in years in California.
Most of the people I know are, in fact, Mexican, which is fine. We love the Mexican people here, of course. We love all people, really. Doesn't matter. But it is interesting. It is interesting to see the Mexican mogul upgrading to Damascus using euros. Now, we do accept all forms of currency, of course, at patreon.com/Dropshot. And we appreciate it. And welcome aboard, buddy. Thanks for the upgrade. Also, Strizzy, change it, has upgraded to Damascus as well. Strizzy, change it, of course, again. Honored, humbled, and privileged. Very much appreciated. We've also got some fiscally responsible people getting annually active annually. Cash CW, change it. Our new annual platinum patron. Don't get it, hate it.
Cash Chew? Is it Cash Chew?
Cashew? It's not how you spell cashew. Maybe he tried.
It's not how you spell anything. Yeah, it's nothing.
That's a great point. That is a great point. Yeah. So, hey, Cashew, hey, Tree Nut, welcome aboard, our new annual platinum patron. And Arnie Palmer Alert, hate it, our new annual Damascus patron. An absolute fucking Chad and God. Welcome aboard, brother. Thank you very much. Hate your name. I do like Arnie Palmers, though. Haven't had one in more than a decade, but they are good when I do deign to drink one. When's the last time you had an Arnold Palmer, Tanner?
God, a long time ago, yeah.
Long
time ago. Never been a big fan. Never been a giant fan of them. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd prefer just a regular ass lemonade to an Arnold Palmer, but I'll drink an Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
Let's be super clear about it.
You know what's interesting about this, by the way, is I've never seen the name Arnie Palmer. Like, who is this guy? This is what we refer to here as a Chad.
True.
He joined the Discord in September of 2021. He hasn't sent a goddamn message ever, and he signed up at the Damascus here. I've never seen him in Twitch chat. Don't know who he is. Maybe we'll never talk to him in my life. Signed up annual Damascus. He's just a smart guy.
Just a king, really. Yeah. He knows better than to get in the weeds, as it were. You know? And he's just a supporter. He's probably never going to listen to this, in fact. He probably doesn't even know who we are. But he still wants to support, and we appreciate it. Hate your name again, though. I have to restate that. And also, friend of the pod, Borpa businessman, Minnesotan, king, pizza boy, D-Rock has upgraded to annual fucking Damascus. What an absolute god. D-Rock, longtime friend of the pod and supporter, getting active, getting fiscally responsible, getting that 16% discount by going annual. D-Rock, thank you very much, dude. Very much appreciate it. King. Also, we got a 20 United States dollar donation a couple days ago from Mitch K. Pollock, also known as Sierra Jet. Change all of them. Very generously contributed 20 United States dollar, and he said, little head start on the No Lag Fund. No Lag is, of course, a VPN. Mitch! Thank you very much for the 20 bones, dude. Very much appreciated, brother. When did we start a No Lag Fund? Are you familiar with this? Because I'm not.
Well, it worked because I bought it, so it must have, I don't know. Like,
Tanner
I guess
did,
that
in
money
fact,
was
buy
deposited.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah, VPNs
it was
don't work.
only problems, yeah.
It made my game crash 3 times. I had 80 ping the whole time. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
So fuck VPNs.
Fuck VPNs. Cheers. But thank you very much, Mitch. I appreciate it. So once again, patreon.com/thedropshot. 7 bonus eps a month. Best way to support the show. We love you and we appreciate each and every one of you, and welcome aboard. So speaking of the Patreon, we're getting real active there. We have a number of episodes scheduled for the remaining days in February. One of which is going to be a Platinum and Damascus only episode, and it is going to be in preparation for the Dropshot Invitational number 4, which is, of course, a Warzone Customs Trios tournament hosted by us on Caldera. Signups are available, in fact. !tournament to see the rules and to sign up. The deadline is coming up to sign up, so make sure that happens, and we do have 1 sponsorship slot available. But I'm saying all this to again remind you, we have a lot of exciting Patreon episodes planned for this month, and one of them is going to be a Platinum Damascus episode, and it is going to be a tournament prep brainstorm ep, in which Tanner and I are going to put ourselves in a competitor's shoes, and we are going to strategize and talk about everything we would do to achieve victory in the tournament. Now, if we were participating, would we win? Obviously, duh. Of course we would. So these are going to be golden nuggets of wisdom and truth in this episode. We're going to talk about where we would drop. What would our strategy be to maximize our score based on the format of this particular tournament? What guns are we going to use? What perks are we going to use? When are we going to buy? What are we going to buy? Etc., etc., etc. How are we going to rotate? How aggressive are we going to be? What contracts are we going to do? All of it. What are we going to
do when the circle ends on top of peak?
Yes, exactly. Well, we'll be prepared. I can tell you that much. You should write that down, by the way, Tanner. The peak endings thing.
I already did.
Okay, good. That is going to be a Platinum and Damascus only episode. It's going to come out next week, and we are very excited for it. Now, obviously, the tournament is open to all patrons, and if you wanted those little nuggies, you have to get active at Platinum if you wanted to listen. Did we do that on purpose? Of course we did, and get scammed, because we offer 6 bonus eps a month to Platinum, 4 to Gold, and 7 to Damascus. So I'm very excited for this episode. Tanner, I get the sense that you don't share my enthusiasm for this episode.
Why do you think that?
You're not beaming with pride and shouting from the rooftops.
Well, it was my idea to do this episode, right?
It was, in fact, your idea, shockingly.
Shockingly.
Yeah, but we're
not going to have a tournament because there's 1 team signed up. How are we going to tell that one team how to win, or what?
We really do need more of you to sign up. If you want to sign up, join the Discord. Go to the tournament resources channel, or section rather, and then there is a rules and signups channel, and in there is a link to the rules and the signups. And signups. See if anyone
signed up since yesterday.
Pretty soon. But yeah, we're going to take a look at if anyone has signed up since yesterday.
Maybe we did get one since yesterday. Yeah, we maybe got one.
We have plenty of team slots left. We have one sponsorship slot left. But in this Patreon episode where we are going to pretend to prep for the tournament, do you think we are going to offer anything surprising to the listener? Do you think we have some ideas that maybe others wouldn't think of?
Yeah, probably. I feel like we usually do. I mean, the one on Rebirth, we had numerous people told us that. They're like, holy shit, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And then I think the drop spot that we suggested, I think everyone listened to that and they all thought, oh, everyone's going to be landing there. So then everyone else started landing other places, and then no one ever landed at that spot because they thought it was going to be too hot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty funny.
I think that did happen. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So we got some other stuff planned for the Patreon too, but if you wanted to get a lot of bonus episodes, we're doing now more bonus episodes now than ever before. So now is a great time to join the Patreon. Even if you don't give a fuck about the tournament, you can, get some more shit to listen to while you're at work. And if you're Damascus, that's 7 bonus eps every month. So it's a lot. And you unlock everything from the past too. So patreon.com/thedropshot, best way to support the show. The last Patreon episode that we did record was a multiplayer Vanguard Season 2 First Impression State of the Game episode. We talked about the new guns in Vanguard, the new maps on Vanguard, the new perks, the new streak, and a little bit about the state of the game in general. That was a fun and exciting episode to do. We enjoyed that one. So if you are a patron, that's available now. You can go ahead and listen. We're going to have our Platinum and Damascus Q&A episode up soon. I would have had it up by now, but Tanner decided not to render it or put it into my media
It's in the
folder.
drive. It's absolutely in the drive. Yeah.
Maybe it just got there. I don't know, but I checked this morning and it wasn't. So it was very interesting. But we also do for our Platinum and Damascus patrons each and every month a Q&A episode that only they can ask questions for and only they can listen to the answers for. We do this once a month. We very recently recorded our last one last night, in fact. I had a couple Guinnesses, which are draft beers from the great country of Ireland. And that is how the Irish talk. And it was fun and exciting. Tanner, you have some notes on that episode. How did you enjoy that?
I thought it was a solid ep. I mean, don't get me wrong. Your guys' questions were still fucking terrible, all of them.
Yeah.
But, it was easier to get through because we had a small amount to drink, so that made it much easier because you guys are dog shit and asked trash questions.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a pretty fun app. Yeah.
It was fun.
So
yeah,
that'll probably be up. That'll be up in 3 hours. Raz will have it up by the time this pod's over.
Let's not get that crazy. It'll be up at a time for sure. But yeah, it was really fun. We recorded it in the evening, which we have not done any episode for in quite a while. I guess season 2 we did. Season 3 of the Dropshot, episode 201 we did at night. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. So yeah, that'll be up soon. And then that is it for me. Tanner, any other announcements from you? Got it. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is. Millie Boy, 18 months. Fucking love you motherfuckers with the resub. Welcome back, dude. Mill Dog, longtime friend of the pod, honored, humbled, and privileged. Thank you, buddy, for the 18 months, dude. Very kind of you. Yeah, of course Husker's VPNs, by the way. Definitely. I don't think he aimbots. I'm almost sure he doesn't.
I don't know. I've looked at his lobbies, and his are usually... They're like always like 1.2 plus. I haven't looked lately on Caldera, but like the other guy we've talked about that claims he doesn't, and all of his lobbies are 0.6, and he has a 6.0 KD. He obviously VPNs. Huskers, it's definitely harder to tell. He's still getting sweaty lobbies either way.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I just assume every good Warzone streamer VPNs, but I don't know.
Yeah, anyways, I mean they probably do. Yeah,
they probably.
Yeah, L can check for us.
Yeah, L check. Yeah, we'll get L on it. All right, welcome to the show. Today, Season 2 Warzone First Impressions. So we have broken this episode into 3 broad categories. Neutral observations, things that we find to be bad with the update, and then last, things we find good with the update. So that is how we're going to be doing this. Within each category, it's going to be no particular order, and there might be some overlap. We might be a neutral, say something good or bad, but in general, that's how we've structured this episode. So we're going to start with neutral. And the first point here I've written is about one of the optics. So I'm bored of Cold War guns. I'm very bored of Modern Warfare guns. So I only use Vanguard weapons in Warzone.
You're an idiot then.
Is that stupid? Of course it is. Yeah. Especially if you want to snipe. I like sniping. I find it fun. The best sniper right now is probably the SPR. I've used it some on Caldera, and it's excellent. It behaves extremely well. It has the least flinch in the entire game for all snipers right now, by the way, because it was not nerfed like the Swiss and the CAR were. And it's got great velocity, very little drop, easy to use, sounds great, etc. And decent ADS time and all that. But anyways, because I'm dumb, I've been using Vanguard guns, and one of those is a sniper. I've tried all the Vanguard snipers. I've tried 3 of them. I haven't tried the Gorenko. And lately, I've been trying the Type 99, which is a sniper from Vanguard. And it's a sniper. And
yeah.
What is unique about the Type 99 compared to the Vanguard CAR or the 3-line rifle is that the default optic is fucking dog shit. I mean, so bad. It is almost unusable, which is weird.
The Type 99?
Yes, it's weird because the default reticle or optic, for the Vanguard CAR and the Vanguard 3-line is fine. It's like a thin little bezel, good reticle, whatever. It's fine. But for whatever reason, the Type 99 default optic is the worst thing I've ever had the displeasure of seeing on my monitor. So I wanted to use it, and everything else was like fine with it, but I said, this is untenable. I can't do it. So I was experimenting with non-default optics for the Type 99. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try the 4/8x optic. I'm going to put it in 8x and just leave it there and pretend this is the reticle. And I did that, and holy shit, it's clean as fuck. Thin little bezel, beautiful reticle, lots of peripheral vision. The distance from the optic to your eyeball when you're ADS'd is great. It's a really, really nice optic, and it will be the meta sniper rifle optic on Vanguard weapons when it actually shoots straight. So as we talked about, True Game Data did a video where the 4.8 optic specifically, this one, your bullets don't go where you're aiming, which is kind of a problem, especially on a sniper rifle. So unfortunately, they didn't mention that they fixed that. Therefore, they probably didn't. It's probably still misaligned. But once they fix that, I think this is going to be the Vanguard sniper rifle optic, depending on if the 8X has more zoom than, for example, the default CAR 98 Vanguard optic has. If so, I think this will be like the meta optic. Have you used this, seen this? What are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, number one, I'm never going to use a Type 99. I think it's an actual BB gun, so I don't know why you're using that.
Still a one-shot headshot, bud.
Got it. Yeah. Well, yeah. Do you hit headshots?
Yep.
Got it.
Sure do.
The 4/8 is clean, but I just don't like having variable zoom scopes on my snipers because I always accidentally press the button when I don't want to, and then I change my zoom level. So I've never liked variable zoom on snipers, probably just never will. I'd have to change up my keybinds completely to get used to them if I wanted to use them. So I think most of the default ones are good. So Type 99 is the one that's off to the left of the gun, right?
Yep.
It doesn't sit on top of it.
And
okay,
it's like,
now I know what
it's
I'm
like
talking about.
one
It is
binocular
terrible. Yeah,
eyeball.
it is really bad. You're right.
Yeah.
It's bad in Vanguard too. Yeah, I think this is a clean optic, but I pretty much like using it more like on an AR. Well, not on an AR. I'm talking about the 3 to 6, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't like variable zoom scopes ever. I think the default ones are good enough in this game for like the car and the 3 line to not ever even need to change it.
I think that's probably true. So
I don't think most people do change it.
One little tip for those of you who have the problem Tanner has, where you accidentally change your zoom level. In your set, I know this is true on computer / keyboard and mouse. I don't know if this setting exists for controller, but I'm pretty sure it does. There's a setting to where you tie your change zoom level keybind to another keybind. So you can tie it to sprint, you can tie it to something else, and you can tie it to melee. So if you tie it to melee, then whatever button you press to use your melee button will also change your zoom level while you're ADS'd. I recommend that's the bind you guys use, because if you're ADS'd with a fucking variable zoom optic, guess what you're never going to be doing? Meleeing, ever. It's never a problem. So if you do that, if you marry those two binds, you'll never again have the problem where you're accidentally switching zoom. But there was a game recently where you couldn't do that, and it would fuck me up, and I wouldn't use variables either. But if you have the problem Tanner has, go to your settings and change that setting to the melee one, because you're never going to accidentally hit it again, ever. It'll never happen. So, because if you tie it to like sprint, then you're going to accidentally hit it all the time. Yeah. Because you often like come out of ADS and immediately want to sprint, but you never come out of ADS and immediately want to melee. So there's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's the issue I always have with it is like, as I press right click to unzoom and then I try sprinting, I'll always accidentally hit shift too early. And then instead of sprinting, I just change the zoom level, and it's just annoying to have to deal with. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. You should just change that to have your change zoom be melee.
I don't know. I just never, even back with all the MW guns, I never liked variable zoom optics. I still don't. Like the SPR, I don't use a variable zoom. You know, I haven't used like the HDR AX50 in a year and a half, so I don't know. I'd just rather not have it, I guess.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But what I do, because I don't like having to like always figure out which fucking zoom level I'm on either, is I just use this optic, I put it in the 8x configuration, and I never change it again for the rest of the game. And I just pretend it's an 8x optic.
Yeah.
Another question I have, though, is do you think the 4.8 in the 8x configuration zooms more than the default, Car 98 optic zooms, or the default Type 99 or the default 3-line, or less? Do you know?
I don't know.
I would be very curious.
I feel like the default scopes on the Vanguard snipers zoom a lot, though. Mm-hmm. That's how it feels to me. I don't know if it's just an effect because like how the bezel and how it looks, like how close it is to your screen, but it kind of seems like the car and the 3-line default zoom further than like an MW Car 98 or like a Swiss reticle. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think because they always feel off when I use the default one, like it's zooming too much because I'm used to like using a Swiss, but it could just be how it looks. I'm not actually sure.
But
again, don't use Vanguard snipers. So
if you want to do well, don't use Vanguard snipers right now. That is of course true. Yeah, because there are better options. It's that simple. But that's one thing. So I need to let my dog out. What's this next point here, Tanner?
The one you wrote down here. Okay. So Raz says this probably isn't new with season 2, but we'll mention it. He's been able to build every Vanguard sniper to have 0 idle sway. 0 idle sway.
Right, Tanner?
Yes, I've seen this. It's been tested. There is literally, not even the slightest amount. There's no idle sway. You don't even have to hold down your breath because there's none. Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
It's busted. It's interesting and cool because you can't do that with Vanguard. With Modern Warfare or Cold War guns. But realistically, is it like broken or that good? Not really. If you can't hit your sniper shots, having no idle sway isn't necessarily going to make you hit them that much better, that much more often. But it is cool that you can do that. some people will really like that for like the play style they have.
Well, that was one of the big reasons that the M-Dub car was so busted, is because you could set it up to have almost no idle sway with that stock. And that's the setup you used. It is really good. It is really good. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like once they start changing Vanguard snipers more to be better, I don't know if that means they need to make the optics better or the velocity or what. They're going to need to nerf this, because literally zero. I could zoom in 15x and I wouldn't have to hold my breath ever. It just doesn't move. And that's really good. It's really good in Warzone. So that's just something to keep in mind too. You can build every sniper I've tried, you can build it to have 0 idle sway, which is pretty crazy. So just something to keep in mind. And that's one of the advantages actually of these Vanguard snipers, is you don't have to like
one of the few for sure.
Yeah, one of the very few, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm just more saying, like, in instances where you're shooting someone at 200 meters and they're moving left to right, you not having any idle sway isn't going to make a huge difference in you hitting a shot like that. If you can't hit that shot, you're not going to hit it anyways. But you know, for like close range setups, so you can just pull it up real quick and shoot at someone. But I mean, you can hold breath so quickly it like immediately goes to no sway anyway. So I don't usually feel like that's an issue. But this is, you know, it's good to have. Does it ruin the ADS though, having it built like that? Is the ADS shit?
No, it's no, but it's not as good as it could be. I would say the ADS is like, I don't know. I'd have to like test it, but like maybe like an SPR, like it's fine.
Okay, yeah. SPR feels a little on the slower side,
but it's not slow. Like it's not a ZRG or anything. It's faster than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like having no idle sway is really good. Yeah, like you're saying, like fairly close. Like maybe you're at 50 meters and there's a guy behind a car, like a vehicle, and he's like prone and plating, and you want to hold it and you're not sure when he's going to peak. You can just sit there and just wait.
That's true. Yeah, that's when it gets bad. And that happened to me yesterday when I was using the Swiss, as we were fighting on the side of peak, which we'll get into. We'll get into peak. And there was a guy's head that was barely showing above the rock, and I kept trying to hold my breath. I took a shot, I missed, held my breath again. Eventually, I was holding my breath so long that the aiming stability just got awful, and then the guy like ran, and I couldn't hit him. So like in an instance like that'd be very valuable. Is if you're like holding an angle for 5-10 seconds, and you don't have to worry about it. That is true.
Yeah.
That's when it's really good. Yeah.
So it is good, and it's just something to keep in mind, because you guys if you guys have brains, you haven't tried building Vanguard snipers in Warzone. Good for you. But now you know that is possible. So if that's something that's very enticing to you, I would recommend you do that. And if that was really attractive to you and you wanted to use a Vanguard sniper, but the best one possible, I would say that's probably still the Vanguard car, maybe? I don't know though. What do you think the best Vanguard sniper is if you have to pick one?
I don't know. Probably the car.
Yeah.
It really seems like they're trying to make it the 3-line, so the car isn't still meta, because they made a lot of changes to the 3-line with Season 2. So I feel like they're focusing on that to change it up, but I don't know. I feel like car is still better.
Yeah. And the car can be built this way as well, so there you go. Okay, next. Neutral observation here. The AI is as expected. These are the bots that are at factory and on my team and in those bunkers.
Got it.
They behave exactly as we expected to. They're dog shit. They'll shoot at you, but they miss a lot. And they have like one or two plates of health, and they're easy to kill, and they don't move. At factory, in fact, I think every single bot is in a tower, so they're always in those little guard towers, so they're super easy to kill. They don't move around. They're not going to slide cancel you. And in the bunkers, they move around a little bit, but they're not tack sprinting anywhere. They're not slide canceling you. And they still miss and are dog shit. So they're easy to kill. They don't drop much loot, but they do have a pretty high chance, I feel like, to drop streaks.
Yes, they do.
So they're worth looting. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the AI?
Yeah, if you kill them, it's pretty easy to see if you can see a giant streak up there. If you do, go and grab it. I've gotten a UAV, I think a cluster from them so far. I would say it's like the chance of them dropping a streak is probably like 30 to 40%. It's pretty high.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just like they'll drop some AR ammo or something. So nothing like crazy, but they are worth going to check if you see that there for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And another thing for your guys' edification, when they shoot, they're not always on your mini map, but if they shoot, they are, because it doesn't seem any of them use silenced weapons. And when they do, they will appear on your mini map as red, but it is a very obviously different shade and maybe shape of red dot. You can immediately tell if it's a player versus the AI. It's distinguishable. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Just a red circle, or there's like a red line on the outside
like
of the circle, and then the inside's like black or something. Yeah,
something like that.
It is noticeably different. Yeah, they'll like start shooting and like kind of beam you through windows, but they don't really do much damage. Like more than anything, you'll get hit and then you'll scurry away and you'll play up. You're like, holy shit, I'm getting shot at, and then you realize like, oh, it's just AI, and then it's not a big deal. Then you just one tap them. You can shoot them, I think, pretty much anywhere in the body with like a sniper, and it's a one shot down. So they're easy to kill.
Yeah, super easy to kill. Yeah, they're whatever, which is fine. I'd rather they be kind of shit.
It's free loot. Yeah. I mean, we knew they weren't going to be like demons, obviously.
Yeah,
so
of course. So yeah,
I think they do die a little bit faster than I expected them to die, though.
Yeah. Next, Factory, the new POI, is the only place you should be taking your character. After the loot changes and the money changes, which we're of course going to get into, Factory is the one and only point of interest on Caldera where you can land there and get enough money for a loadout or for every single time. There is a crate
Guaranteed.
Every step. It's the only place in Caldera or on Verdansk where I'll drop there and I'll say, fuck it, I'm tired of looting. There's too much. I just want to leave. There's that many boxes, more than anywhere I've ever been, ever. It's crazy. And because nowhere else has any boxes, in fact, 90% of all boxes on Caldera are on Factory. This is the only place you should be dropping. So much loot, so much money. And also, like, again, because the bots are there, you can like loot a streak. That's good too. There's always a buy either at Factory or very close to it.
Like a little bit to the north, yeah.
And there's a balloon that's pretty close too, so you can yeet yourself toward peak, which is what we basically do every game. We land Factory, buy loadout in 10 seconds, run to the little balloon, take it to the balloon below peak, take that sucker to the top of peak, wipe a team or two up there, and then just go from peak to wherever the fuck we want and win the game.
Yeah.
Free low strat, you should only be landing Factory. I don't care how far out of the circle it is, and I don't care how far away from the plane flight path it is. Because here's the reality. If it is 4 kilometers from the flight path and it is wildly outside of the circle, it is still going to be the fastest way for you to get a loadout. Even if you have to fly from the plane for 10 minutes to land at Factory, if you account for that, it is still the fastest way to get the loadout on Caldera. I'm literally not kidding. You should never land anywhere else except maybe peak. These are the only 2 places you should go. No matter where you're playing, landing Factory is the fastest way to get loadout. I don't care if it's right under the plane or 4 kilometers. And I'm not being cute. That's literally true. You'll literally get a loadout here faster, even if you have to fly for 10 minutes. Do you agree?
Absolutely. It's if you want to get money and buy a loadout before the free one, yeah, it's the spot on the map to land pretty much. We were playing a bit last night and we're like, okay, there's no point in marking anything else. We're only going Factory from now on until they change some things up, because there's nowhere on Caldera that has as many crates in such a small area as Factory. I don't know if there's ever been an area in Warzone ever that has had the amount that Factory has.
Definitely not. Yeah, no chance. And a decent amount of orange crates, by the way.
Yeah, there's pretty much always at least 2 orange crates there, yeah. Mm-hmm. there's so many that it's overwhelming that you get enough money, you start running to the buy station, and you're running by and you hear chests like through the walls and shit, and you just don't even bother getting them because you're like, we already have $25,000 now. We were fighting around there for a long time last night, actually. We got a loadout really quick. I think then we saved up our money, got like some bounties. We kept fighting teams around that area too. It was great. Like we didn't venture that far. Then we kept hitting the balloons. We got up more money. We all got self-reses. We all got streaks. We were just rolling in the dough because we landed factory. It's just such an easy spot, and we're shocked every time to see how few people land there. We landed there, I think, twice last night. Not a single other team was there. Yeah. No one. It's weird. You guys got to land factory. I'm telling you, just free money. Because I'm sure all of you have experience like, holy shit, we can't find cash right now. What's going on? We have to just wait till we get our first loadout pretty much. What's going on here? It's all at factory. That's why. It's pretty much like if you guys remember the bunkers in Verdansk where there was about 10 different chests in one little tiny room. That's everywhere on factory. It feels like a Verdansk bunker, just full of loot. So yeah. There's also this one spawn area that I swear is glitched. It's like this in the main center building. It's like upstairs in one of the corners. Every time I've ran through there so far, there's 4 plates sitting in the same exact spot. Really? It's like one here, one here, one here. They're all in a line, and then there's one below those. Every time I've ran by it, there's been 4 plates in the same spot. It's like it's bugged. Yeah. Because cool. I've never noticed that anywhere else. I'm like, oh, there's always 4 plates right there.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. One other thing. Yeah, it is crazy how few people land here. That you're right. Like, there's never been like 2 other teams with us. I don't think, which is insane because I guess people just don't know how much money is here. But you guys do now. So another thing that I hadn't thought of till right now that we haven't been doing is regaining by dropping here. Because there is so much loot over a fairly large area that even if someone else landed there first, they probably didn't loot at all. And you might be able to scrounge the scraps for a regain and still buy loadout. That's how much loot there is. You think that's crazy, or do you think that's smart?
That's true. I just feel like we haven't had a circle ending typically that's that close to the POI. So I feel like that's why we haven't thought about regaining there. Because we've also landed there. That's also why we're not seeing people. We're landing there when it's like 400 meters outside of where the circle is. We still land there because we know we can get a loadout and then we just hit the balloon and get in zone. So, I think that's kind of why we haven't been regaining, because it's usually not in the later circles.
Yeah.
Because the game only ends peak now.
That is, of course, true, which we'll get into. Yeah. So there you go. What is this next point, Tanner?
Yeah, put this in neutral. So UAVs are gone in Vanguard Royale. You cannot buy them any longer. This sounds like a horrible change, right? It's in the neutral category because I'm not playing Vanguard Royale. I haven't. I won't be. I never will. It's a dog shit game mode. And if you guys are complaining about that, that's your fault. I don't know why you're playing Vanguard Royale. What have we been saying since minute 1 Caldera drop? Actually, since before Caldera dropped. We're like, what is this shit game mode? Why would you guys play it? All these fucking idiots, including the idiots we play with, kept saying, no, this is the better game mode. Vanguard Royale's it. Blah, blah, blah. Dog shit idiots. Vanguard Royale fucking blows, and you're an idiot for playing it and then complaining about all this shit that's specific to Vanguard Royale. My brother-in-law, Chris, texted me last night. He's like, dude, the game is so bad right now. He was saying some shit. I'm like, what? It's like the best. It's the best it's been since Caldera came out. What are you talking about? He's like, well, there's like the bombers. There's all. I'm like, what are you playing Vanguard Royale for? That's your fault for playing Vanguard Royale. You know what you're getting into. It is go play Caldera Clash over Vanguard Royale. I mean, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
If you don't have people to play with, because it's only quads right now, random fill and you'll have more fun in regular BR than Vanguard Royale. I think the only thing Vanguard Royale has going for it right now is it's full of bots from what I've heard. Like the lobbies are like actually like 0.2, 0.3 lower KD. So, we've been telling you since the start, Vanguard Royale is dog shit. So, stop playing it. There's your tip. There's your tip of the day. Don't play Vanguard Royale.
It is that simple. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy L wanted to play this and there's no UAVs. I forgot about that. So another reason to
you can get them, you just can't buy them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. But still, yeah. So agreed. Fuck Vanguard Royale. Indeed. All right. Now, bad. These are obviously first impressions that are negative of Season 2 in Warzone. So, again, in no particular order, first things first. The Nebula 5 ammo. Okay.
Stopping power, right?
Well, first of all, to anyone who thinks this is anything like stopping power, stop it. Luckily, it's not stopping power. For all of Nebula 5 ammo's faults, I'm glad it's at least not stopping power. But that doesn't make it good or interesting or fun. So, from what I remember, so you can find this a lot at Factory. They're pretty common. I'd say I see one almost every game. And they're
very common.
It's like stopping power in that you pick up a field upgrade, you press the button, and then you load in a magazine's worth of Nebula 5 rounds. Okay. So what it's supposed to do, as far as I understand, is when you down someone, they emit a cloud of gas that makes it harder for their teammates to res them because they're going to have to contend with being in gas during the res. That's what I read on the patch notes when they talked about what they were doing and what this is. Does it work that way? Probably not. And I don't know what it's doing, but I do know it's a disaster and it's a buggy fucking mess.
I can't figure out what it does. I still don't understand it.
So Tanner will tell you about his fun and exciting time with this yesterday. Let me tell you about mine. Fighting some guy. He shoots me a couple times. I shoot him more times. I kill him. So he's dead. He's out of the game. But since he had Nebula 5 ammo, I just had the most insane loud audio bug. Like there was gas exploding on me every second until the game was over, which we won. So for 10 minutes straight, it was just like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
I thought that was an incendiary bug.
No,
that sounded
Nebula
like fire
ammo.
bullets to me. Was it?
Nope, It was Nebula 5 ammo. I'm positive. Because I saw gas when he first shot me. And then for the rest of the game, whoosh, whoosh. He didn't even down me. And it was obviously some kind of bug that everyone else could hear, by the way. So when we tried to push one of those buildings, if they didn't see us coming, they certainly fucking heard us.
Yeah, whoosh, whoosh. It was so. I had to get as far away from him as I could. It was so annoying.
Yeah, imagine playing this way. And Cope almost, in fact, pushed me into the line of fire so that I would die because he was tired of hearing it. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. Super buggy. Absolutely not working as intended. And then Tanner had a fun and exciting experience yesterday. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, yeah. So I swear sometimes I get hit with it and I feel like it's doing gas damage. I don't know what's going on with it, but when I shoot people, it certainly doesn't seem like they take any more damage. It's just you down them, you full them, and then there's just a poisonous cloud right there. What's the point of that? I don't know. So yesterday we were pushing a team. I think it was that game we won, actually.
Yeah, I think it was.
We were pushing a team. I either downed him or fulled him, but I had the rounds. So anyways, he was for sure down, and then either I fulled him or someone else did. I ran through his body. He had knocked my plates off. I'm 100% certain I had full health. I ran through the cloud for a split second. My character was just on the ground, downed. I had full health. So it's something is entirely buggy with it. Shocking. They added something new into the game that's entirely buggy. So I don't know what's going on with it. And after that, I'm like, okay, there's no reason to even run these. They're not good from what I can tell. I don't even know what they do. So it certainly doesn't seem like they're any good. So I'm just done picking them up. And I just run past them at this point because I'm over it. And there's actually kids like on TikTok that are making clickbait videos like these are the new stopping power rounds. Yep. Don't listen to them. I would just not even pick them up because I've actually died more often. I've been downed more often now than they've gotten me kills.
Yeah, actually.
I've gotten 0 kills from the gas feature. I've been downed once to my own gas, so I'll never use these again. Yeah. These are a disaster, and I hope they're out of the game by the time this stupid event's over. I think they will be. It'll probably last this entire season, though, so we'll be dealing with them for like a month and a half.
Smile. One thing L was saying too, which I can't confirm because I didn't see this happen and it didn't happen to me, but L was like, yeah, I had the Nebula 5 ammo. I was using it. I downed someone. They were not emitting a poisonous cloud, but once I fooled him, then he started emitting the cloud. And doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the cloud? Because the cloud's supposed to stop the res. It's not supposed to stop you looting your dead teammate or something. So if that's the case, which it could be, I don't know who I trust more, L or Activision. So I don't really know what to think in this case. But if that does happen or is happening, that's not how they said it would work. And also pointless, completely pointless. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but it is not working as intended, and it's super buggy. And this is what we told you guys would happen, by the way. It would be a buggy fucking disaster. Yeah.
It does say they're supposed to make it difficult to revive a downed player. This is just some article from some website about it. So it certainly seems to me when people are down, they don't always put out the gas. It seems like it usually comes out after they get fulled. So I don't know what's going on. They also do not do any extra damage whatsoever to the person. So, is there a reason to run them? No, not really. Because then you actually just have to wait until until like 10 seconds after the person's dead to go and loot their shit. Because you'll just die to your own gas.
I know.
Yeah. Or the other thing is if you have a gas mask, it'll auto deploy that gas mask sucker. So if you get caught off guard, run close to the gas and you have a mask, your character will put the dumb mask on. Maybe his buddy's sitting in the house. You run around the corner and his buddy downs you because you're stuck in a gas mask animation. So any way you look at it, there's just no reason to run these Nebula rounds. I would just ignore them.
Yeah, 100%. So cool, sick, and not surprising at all. So anyway, whatever. Speaking of new field upgrades, the portable decontamination station. I don't know if it's buggy or not because I never use it. So I'm at the point now, I picked one up. I picked them up quite a few times. On a goof, I used it once. Did I need to? No. I wasn't in gas. I was safe in the circle. But I had, by this time, I had picked one up fucking 10 times, never touched it. And I was like, I'm going to throw this down just to see what it does. So I threw it down and it, whatever, looks like a dumb little fucking fog machine at prom. And then it went away.
You
and I
didn't
was
go
like,
to prom.
Well, anyway. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not picking these up anymore. So now I just ignore them. So as expected, they just don't impact the gameplay experience at all, which is better than them being like Nebula 5 ammo, hindering my gameplay experience, but certainly was a waste of developer time. So cool. And got it.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, believe me, you'll probably never make a play where you get value out of this thing. It can be done. Of course, the only people doing it are the smartest players in the world with the highest win percentage. Like Shaded Step posted a nasty clip with it yesterday. Of course, Raven tweeted at it and then like retweeted it because it's the first person to ever correctly use one of these, and they're just utterly shocked. Yeah. Like, oh, cool! Look at this awesome feature we added, and no one is as smart as that to use it the way these people use it. You're going to see clips from OP Marked, Shaded. People like that with high iron, high win percentages, no one else is going to ever think of doing these plays and using this. These guys have literally thousands of more wins than you. You're not as good as them. You're not as smart. So I've seriously probably picked up 8 of these. So I was like, oh, I may as well pick it up. I haven't even thrown it down ever. I don't know why I even grab them anymore. So just like the Nebula gas, I'm done grabbing them. I will never think to make a smart play like someone like them and do something nasty with it. So I just, okay, whatever. I just won't carry him.
Yeah. And I feel like even if you could make a smart, cute little play with them, honestly, I feel like you have to go out of your way to do it for a cool Twitter clip.
Exactly.
And
it's like
I
they could probably,
if I was Shaded Step, because I can, and I would get Raven to retweet me. Good exposure, but he probably didn't need to do it. You know?
Yeah. It's like you probably Yeah, he's just bragging that he's smarter than all of us. That's what he's doing. He's smarter than you listening. Us, yeah. He's smarter than me. He's smarter than Raz. So he thinks, he's like, oh, cool, let's make a juicy little play like this. Yeah, it's like, could he have probably just ran into the zone and stimmed and been fine and also won the game? Yeah, but he made a cute little play out of it with it. But yeah, none of you guys listening are ever going to make a play like that. If you do, post in the Discord and tag me. I expect to never be tagged, though, ever.
Yeah, so got it. So yeah, again, just a waste of time. So cool. Next, this is another thing.
Wait, this may change, by the way, when the Nebula bombs come in. These may be valuable in a few weeks, but as of right now, there's no reason to have these at all.
Yeah,
because Nebula bombs are coming in like 3 weeks, I think. That we don't know exactly how those are going to work. That may kind of have an actual reason to pick up and run these portable little stations. So,
yeah, okay, maybe. Anyways, moving on. Big game bounties being gone. Again, we've kind of already talked about this. It just sucks. And they did not increase the proportion of normal bounties to compensate for them removing big game bounties. So, we already talked about this, but I'll just reiterate. I am sad at how few bounties of any type there are in regular BR at any time ever. There are very few. It sucks. This is how we like to play the game. And the alternative used to be like buy a UAV and just go chase a red dot. But now UAVs are more expensive and there's no money on this map anymore. So $6,000 for a UAV, that's a lot to swing now. So when you take out bounties also, which was like a quasi UAV, it gave you information on where someone is. You can regularly just run around and not see people for quite a long time, even if you're wanting to find people, and that sucks. We've had a number of games where, let's say we land factory, we're alone, we get loady, we go to the balloon, take the other balloon, get to peak, we didn't see a single person yet in the whole game. And it's not like the lobby's dead. There's like, 100 people left still. But we just don't know where they are because we don't have a UAV and you can't pick up a bounty to go find people. It's very cringe and annoying, and they really need to increase the proportion of UAVs. It's that simple.
Yeah. So I agree. It's like even last night we were bouncing around from balloon to balloon and we were like, well, we should get a bounty. Look at our map. The closest one was like 800, 1,000 meters away. I was like, okay, I guess we're not getting a bounty. Nice. So then it's like you kind of just run around aimless. It's like, what am I going to do, a recon? So you just keep hoping you can find someone. Don't have enough money to buy a UAV, so we're just essentially running, doing nothing.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. So that needs to change now. Okay, next. Tanner, what's this next little item here?
In my eyes, this is the worst part of the season. Money does not exist. There is no more money in Battle Royale. It's super cringe. You can't regain ever. I play with trash people, so this happened all day long. 2 of my absolute dipshit teammates would get downed off rip. They would go to the gulag, which I have 100% win percentage on because I use the Tanner Dropshot strat. They don't. They're stupid. They lose the gulag. Awesome. Now we have to spend 8,000 buying you idiots back, and we'll never get a loadout until we get our free one, ever. So if you're playing quads and 2 people die in the gulag early, good luck. Game is essentially chalked because you can't regain at that point.
Even
it's
if one
very
dies,
difficult.
Remember when it was just Cope?
Yeah, well, Cope was dog shit and doesn't win the gulag. Yeah. Much like UNL, you guys are all dog shit at the gulag. I'm the only one that wins their gulags. I don't know. It's so simple. Just win it. Just win it.
Got it.
So yeah, if you have teammates down early, the game is honestly just chalked at that point. It's like, it's an exaggeration. You can regain, but you're going to be struggling literally the rest of that game. You will never have money to get self-res. You will never find money to get a UAV. You'll eventually get your loadout, but then you'll be fighting teams that have satchels, UAVs, self-res, and you just picked up your Swiss with 5 bullets in it and nothing else from your loadout drop. So it's a disaster. This, unless you land factory, money doesn't exist, which is why we're telling you land there, because it's everywhere. We landed at the drop spot yesterday once, which is that little neighborhood between fields and airfield. I'm not kidding. Quads, no other team landed there. We looted every single house on that street. I think we had a combined $3,000 between us. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there's a buy station there. Cool. Great. Thanks, Raven. There's no money there, though. What am I supposed to do with a buy station there? So I think that spot is essentially just chalked for now. Also, at one point yesterday, I remember counting, I think it was like 5 or 6 chests in a row I opened. None of them had even a stack of $100. I was like, oh, there's 5, nothing in it. You can't regain it, makes it boring. It's like, what am I opening all these chests for? And 3 of my teammates are dead. May as well pull us out. We're not going to come back. So it's super frustrating. Money absolutely needs to be buffed substantially, because it's kind of just feeling like pre-loadout change Caldera again, where it's like
you functionally can't get a loadout before the free one because there isn't enough money to.
And it's almost, in a sense, it's almost worse, because pre-loadout, I would just be like, okay, we know we're not getting a loadout because we literally can't, so let's just start fighting teams. But in this, it's like, now I'm just constantly looting in hopes of finding money that I don't find, and then I just wasted 4 minutes opening chests to get $400 and then not be any closer to buying a loadout.
Yep.
So it makes you play a different way and essentially just waste your time. So money needs to be buffed. Will they do it? I don't know, because I've seen no one else complain about this.
Really?
No, I haven't seen anyone on Twitter bitching about the money. So I don't know where they're all landing, where they're finding it. But as far as I know, the money's only a factory.
And this is not like a fluke. Every single game, if you don't land factory, there is not enough money. And it takes so fucking long to get loadout. Even if no one dies, it takes like way too long. They do need to increase money a lot. And I'm really upset, because I was going to ask you, have you seen on Twitter people bitching about this? But if you haven't, that's trouble. We really need to increase the amount of money. It is in shambles. Now, luckily, factory exists, but what happens when they normalize that loot? Hopefully, they disperse that money throughout the whole map. But until then, it's really rough. It's really rough. And it does make regaining, again, like impossible. There was one game we got second place in because I was last one alive for actually like 4 minutes. On our team, and I landed on the second free loadout drop. I got it. I had, like Tanner said, 5 sniper bullets and like 1 mag of AR. There's like 4 other teams. I'm running around just trying to not die, trying to loot, but there's no loot, especially now, let alone in the beginning of the game. Late game, no, you'll never get money again. So there's no loot, there's no ammo. I'm like, all right, hopefully I can kill someone and loot them for at least ammo and plates. Open 1 box during this 4-minute stretch. A satchel comes out of it, which is glitched into the wall and I can't pick it up. Awesome. So no plates. I'm now out of sniper bullets. Missed 5 shots because I'm dog shit. And then I'm just like ratting until finally it is only 2 other teams left. Me versus 4 people. Of course I'm dead. So we get second place. And if this were pre-season 2, I would have been able to probably loot enough money to at least buy someone back and have like a fighting chance, maybe. But it was quite literally hopeless. And I was in the air landing on the loadout knowing it's hopeless. There's no buildings in this last zone. Maybe there's a buy, maybe there's a contract, maybe there isn't, but it doesn't matter because the buy station doesn't take blood or plates to buy people back. It takes money, which doesn't exist. So we were just fucked. And I just knew it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. Hopefully the last team is like one guy who dies to gas testing the portable decontamination station or something. Didn't happen. Regaining is extremely difficult, even early game, as Tanner was saying, let alone late game. You might as well back out. It's hopeless.
Yeah.
It's completely fucking hopeless. Yeah. So, here's another thing. Let's add that little sucker in there. Okay, yeah. So, next point. Connection issues are happening almost every single match. This isn't too bad most of the time, but I would say in 60% of the games I've played since Warzone came out, this has happened. Drop out of the plane, land, start looting. Within the first minute of that lobby, my entire game will freeze along with everyone I'm playing with. And it feels like my game is crashed. But then, like, a full 5 seconds, 5 Mississippis later, I'm back and everything's fine. And, like, everyone just, like, lagged and froze. Connection freeze, though, for 5 whole ass seconds. And this is happening a lot, all the time. And again, most of the time, if you're not, like, in a gunfight, this isn't that big of a deal. But if you are, it's a very big deal, obviously. And it's just annoying. And so that's not great. And also, this has not been happening to me, but Tanner's been, like, crashing quite a bit since then, since Season 2 came out. I've been hearing tales of woe from console players. I can only imagine what they're going through. And
yeah, I heard it's still kind of bad. Better, but still bad.
Yeah, and then even Tanner is, like, has crashed a number, like, 3 times? And you haven't played
I've crashed 4 times now.
Yeah.
No, I think I've crashed 4 times since the season came out. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Like, I feel like this always happens when seasons come out. I don't know what it is with a new season specifically, but when there's like a bunch of new content and shit added for like the first week or 2 of that update, I will get crashes, and then they'll eventually fix it by like the first patch post-season, and then I usually won't have any issues until the next season or the season reloaded, and then it happens again. I crash on and off for a week, and then it's fixed till season 3 will come out. So yeah, I'm just used to it at this point. It just happens. So it's not too bad though, but it's like yesterday it was very annoying because the last one of the evening it crashed when we couldn't have been more set up. We landed factory, we got a UAV, we had a shitload of money still because we landed at factory,
and we had a chopper, which Tanner
I was piloting the chopper. All of a sudden my game freezes. It froze so hard it wouldn't unfreeze. I couldn't even pull up a task manager, so I'm just like, all right, I'm getting off, bye, and I just hold down the power button on my computer because the game crashed. That hasn't happened like once since Caldera came out where I had to hard restart my PC. So, you know, but it's bad, but I expect it to be fixed in like a week or 2. I'm not too worried about it. It's still not week 1 of Cold War where I would crash 8 times in an hour. So yeah, it's very annoying every time it happens, but it's been a lot worse. So
it has been worse. True. Yeah. So that's fun and exciting. What is this next point, Tanner?
So Raven absolutely lied to us. They said they lowered the rate of peak endings, right? Something along those lines. I'm not exaggerating. Raz can back me up on this. Probably Cope, probably L. We have had way more circle endings on the fucking side of peak in the last 3 days than I've had the last month.
True.
Prior to this change. I swear to God, they accidentally fucked something up and made it so more peak endings happen. I haven't seen Capital once since Season 2 came out. I haven't been there ever. Because it doesn't go there. I swear to God, at least 50% of our circle endings are on the fucking side of peak. Literally. So sure, it's not technically on peak, it's not on the top on the POI, but every single one, at least half of the giant mountain on peak is in your final circle ending. It's a disaster. That was not the case before this update. They absolutely messed something up. It's bugged. It's very annoying. Yeah. And it's right after they say they lowered the spawn rate, we get more peak endings, peak-ish endings than ever. So
I wonder,
let's fix that.
I agree. I wonder if they think that because it doesn't end literally on the ramparts, that means it doesn't end at peak anymore. Like, I wonder if this is on purpose and they think that they've done what they said they did, or if they fucked something up. Because I honestly don't know. But ending on the side of peak, as I think I said, is arguably even worse than it landing at peak or ending at peak. Especially with the balloons now. If it ends at peak, you can like fight up there and you're not like heavily disadvantaged if you're in one spot versus another. But when it's on the side of the mountain of peak, if you're higher up on the mountain than the other team, that's way better than being on one rampart versus someone else on another rampart at peak. So, yeah, this is not a solution. And it is literally 50% of the games we've played have ended somewhere on the difficult to traverse. I can't run up this hill, but I can run up this steeper one a meter to the left of it. Trash side of the mountain on peak. It's really cringe. Yeah.
Yeah. Notice something else I've noticed is I feel like the balloons are never in like the last circle or two. It's like they purposely made it so they're not in there.
That is interesting.
Because I was just thinking, like, I feel like you can make some interesting, fun plays, like final circle with the balloon. But now I think about it, we've like never had one in the zone. Maybe we've just been unlucky, but that will be fun when it's like 1v1 or something and you're able to hit that sucker and you can get like a snipe or something out of the air. I mean, you're going to die if you miss one shot as you're flying in, they'll just kill you. But there could be some fun shit to come from that.
Yeah. We did, however, use a balloon to make a beautiful play, and we ended up winning that game, I think. Guess where we were? On the side of peak, of course, and there was a balloon there, and we had to get like higher up to peak because the circle was ending there. It was super weird. And if there wasn't a balloon there, we're dead. But we were like, all right, fuck it. Tanner got a down, I think, and we're like, okay, let's use this to yeet ourselves like above them. And we did, and then we killed them, and we won that game. And that was very cool. That was like one of many instances of the balloons being a good, fun change. Because it gives you some more mobility when there's very little cover. Like there was very little cover at that time. But anyways, yeah, there's a million peak endings. And it's not fun or exciting. And then last point here is the cheater situation is not good right now. I don't know if I've just been getting unlucky or what, but since season 2 came out, the cheaters on Caldera have been the worst they've ever been for this map. Now, that is not to say cheaters are as bad in my experience since season 2 came out as they were at their worst in Verdansk, or even at their average in Verdansk. It's probably not even that bad. But I've been seeing more cheaters now than I have in quite a while. And certainly since Caldera came out, I've been seeing more cheaters than ever before. I think in one of these games we had, or one of these sessions we had, we played like 6 or 7 games and we had 3 games where we died to like obvious rage hacking bots or something.
There's 2 in a row at one point.
There was 2 in a row
of rage botters. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the cheater situation?
Yeah, I've seen too many since the season came out. I don't know if Ricochet will ever be what I was expecting because it's still not nearly good enough. Not nearly good enough, man. I just don't get how something that's sniffing your kernels can let all of these obvious cheats get by. And then why are there videos of some cheaters that have like 2 kills getting that, what is it called, like the thing where their bullets stop doing damage? Why is that happening every once in a while? But one of the rage hackers in our game, I think, ended with 41 kills. Why is someone like that? Why is that not kicking in halfway through the game or something for him?
I just haven't.
It still exists.
Or heard that.
No, Tim the Tatman posted a clip of it like 2 days ago. He was like, he like ran up to the guy. He was standing right in front of him. The guy was dumping his bullet. He was just staring at it. Wasn't doing any damage. So it's like, where is it when someone has like 100% headshot ratio and they get 41 kills in a match and are obviously cheating and are also like rank 8? Why is it not kicking in? So Ricochet shockingly seems like it's a fucking disaster. Yeah. Because we knew it wasn't going to be 100%. Anti-cheats never are. But I'm still seeing way too many 100%. Than what we should be for a kernel level anti-cheat. So let's figure it out.
Yeah, agreed. And not too much more to say on that, really. This was what would happen in Verdansk, though. Every time a new season came out, there would be an uptick in cheaters because people want to try the new season, including cheaters. So you would see like a lot of cheaters when these seasons came out, and that seems to still be the case now. So
yeah,
sick man. So anyway, whatever. So yeah, that is it. All right, next and final section, we want to end on a positive note. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the good. First impressions of things that are good. Number one, there does seem to be a lot less dead silence floating around. I still die to people I don't hear, of course, but at least they don't have dead silence. And, the audio is exactly the same as it's been since day one. Dog shit. But I am seeing and dying to way less dead silence than even before season 2, but still on Caldera. There really is less dead silence floating around. Fewer of them, rather. I barely loot it myself, honestly. They did definitely, when they made it legendary, lower the incidence of it dropping, and that's a good thing. So, you have the same experience seeing fewer deadies?
Yeah, still don't hear people. I've still died to deadie a couple times since the season dropped, but it's definitely less than what it was prior to season 2.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for adding that. So, yeah, that's good. Next, the balloons. They're glorious. Probably the best part of this update, almost certainly the best part of this update, is adding in those fucking balloons. Now, unfortunately, you can't see them on your map, but I think they're going to change that. And that'll be really handy and helpful. But the balloons are fun, exciting, and balanced appropriately. You can still get shit on taking a balloon, but they have to be pretty close to do it. So it's a risk, but it's an appropriate amount of risk, and we already kind of talked about why that is. I don't know if that was on Patreon or not. I don't think it was. But they're great. They're a perfect tool. They're not so overpowered that you can just only use those to move around the map. They don't take you far enough to where you can go to every balloon without moving, because you could launch that far, which is probably a good thing. But they are absolutely impactful enough to be worth using. And again, like I was talking about earlier, you can make plays with them to win games you would otherwise not win. And it's awesome. The balloons are super fun to use too. They're just a great addition to the game, and I'm very pleased to see their inclusion. And they behave exactly as we wanted them to, which is not something that happens often. But when we read about this, we were excited, and it was, in this case, well-founded.
Yeah, this is actually something I was excited for, and it ended up working even better than I expected it to.
Yeah.
Because the speed and everything, they're really great. Definitely the best quality of life / fun thing they've added probably since we got the zip lines to Verdansk. So you can, get to those rooftop campers easier. Verdansk needed far more zip lines than it had, but it was great that they did add those in. And this is absolutely, I think, the best thing to come to Warzone since then. They're so good. They're so much fun. We honestly just kept bouncing from balloon to balloon because they're so fun to use. You pull your shoot. Before I get onto it, I pull out my sniper, my Swiss K31 Thang, of course, because why would I use a Vanguard gun? Wow. So I keep that Thang out, and I get on the zip line. You have to look which direction you want to go, pretty much. Get on that sucker, start flying, pull my shoot early, start looking around at the ground, start marking people. So it's very fun. It helps you if you want to play quicker. We actually just straight up abandon our vehicles just to take a balloon.
Yes,
is that dumb in the long run? Absolutely. But it's so fun to just hit those balloons and fly through the air. So yeah, these are great. I'll never get sick of these. It was a great addition to the game. They better be staying. We don't think it's part of this event, but you never know. I think there's enough positive feedback that even if it was originally planned to just be for this event, I think they would keep them in permanently.
I agree.
So pretty much seems like these are here to stay. No one complains about them. They're fantastic. I've yet to get a one-shot snipe out of the air from a balloon. I've cracked 3 people now, but I haven't been able to get that headshot one-shot down with a sniper yet. So I've been going for that. Yeah,
I'll get it first on my first try.
You absolutely won't.
Another thing, we'll edit that out. Another thing that's cool about these, by the way, is that if you're fighting another team and you're both outside of the circle and the gas is coming in and there's a balloon by you, that's cool because it's a spot where you can all agree would be good to have. And so everyone's kind of on notice that this is probably where the other team is going. And we had one of those situations yesterday, I think, where it was we're fighting our bounty team. We picked up the one bounty on the map. and the gas was coming in, and we were fucking far from the circle. So we really either had to get a vehicle now or take that balloon. And then Tanner was like, they're probably going for the balloon. And we were like, fuck, you're right. So we all just started looking at the balloon, going toward the balloon. Of course, they were trying to go for the balloon. We dealt with them. We ran their pockets, and then we took it ourselves. It was really cool. So that's another cool part about it, is that it's like a miniature POI where you can expect activity in certain situations, especially in situations like that where gas is on your ass and you need to move quick, you know?
Yeah. There was one bounty too. I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about right now, but he kept hitting balloons and getting away from us. We chased him for like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Finally, we were able to get him and kill him. It was all 4 of us chasing. It was just one little guy trying to get away, and he kept hitting all the balloons. We finally got him, though. Finally. It was so annoying trying to chase him because of that. But he was making smart plays trying to get away from us. It was funny.
Yeah, it was very cool. So the balloons are fucking excellent. Yeah. They're fun and they're balanced and they're good for the game. So it's like all upside. So it's one of the few unambiguously, and they're not buggy at all. I don't think anything's buggy related to them. So it's one of the very few changes that is just like all good, all upside as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, balloons are great. What is this next point, Tanner?
Okay, they buffed parachutes so you can pull them at a lower height, closer to the ground, and they did absolutely make them a lot better. There are still some ledges, especially the disaster, that's the mountainside going up to peak, where you think you should be able to pull it and you can't. It already happened to me once this season. I jumped off a ledge, it let me pull my chute, and then I also fell to my death. So there's just nothing I could do. That was like obviously one specific bugged part. But other than that, this is really great because there's so many things now you can jump off of and float, which again also speeds up the game like the redeploy balloons do. Because it used to be, cool, I'm going to jump off this ledge, I'm going to fall 20 feet, not take any damage. I also can't pull my chute. I just have to keep running. There's nothing I can do. But now it's like I can jump off that same ledge, glide 100 meters, and it just speeds everything up. Less running around this terrible terrain is great.
Yeah. It does work. Yeah, I wasn't going to let you make it a whole pod because I figured you were excited for that, El. So you didn't say anything wrong. I just wanted to deal with you.
Get dealt with.
Get shit on. Yes, yeah, the parachutes, you can deploy them from far closer to the ground now. And it does work largely as intended, and it has largely the intended effect we expected it to.
Yeah.
It makes you more mobile. It's fun. Parachuting's always fun. It's neat when you're like 2 feet off the ground, but you're fucking in midair flying. And it's like, I shouldn't be able to float here, but I can. It's very cute. It's novel. It's fun. And you move quickly. So yeah, the parachute thing largely works as intended, except when Tanner jumped to his death.
Yeah, that was fun.
But by and large, it works well, and it's a good change, and I'm pleased with that as well. So yeah, that's very cool, and I like it a lot for sure. Next, Tanner.
Yes, same goes for mantling. They definitely buffed that. You can mantle more objects than you could before. Is it still good enough for the way they designed this map? Of course not. It still is the same way it was before. You can now mantle a wall that's at your head level. You can jump right over that. But when there's a rock face that's long and slightly slanted, it won't let you jump on top of that. So it's like you can mantle objects that are 10 times that height, but because it's one little rock, and then that rock lasts for about 10, 15 feet long at that tiny slope it's at, it doesn't let you jump on top of it. You can't run on top of it. And of course, where are all those at? Right on the side of peak, where every circle now ends. So that's terrible. It's actually going to take some getting used to, because it's happened like 3 times now where I didn't mean to, and I would mantle onto the roof of a building. Yeah. So you can get on roofs very easily now when you don't even mean to. Like I was running by some shack in like fields or something, and I was just like trying to jump or something. I don't remember what I was doing. I was trying to jump on like a different object, maybe. I'm not sure. But all of a sudden I just mantle on top of the shack, and I'm like, huh? How do I just mantle up like 10 feet out of nowhere? So you can definitely make some interesting plays now if you like pull a Bertha up to buildings, whereas maybe otherwise you couldn't jump and mantle on and get on the roof. Now you can do that. All those little 2-story houses now that have like a little outdoor, like a little what's the word for it? Not a patio. What are the ones on second
Balcony?
floors called? Like a little outside balcony where usually you couldn't just jump straight up on the roof. Now you can. You just look at the roof line pretty much, press jump, and you mantle on that. So makes it easier to get on those, make for some fun, interesting fights now. But yeah, it almost takes some getting used to because it does throw you off at times when you don't mean to do it or don't think you're going to mantle something and then you do.
Yeah. So they changed this so that you could like, honestly, I feel like the whole reason they did this was so that you could climb peak more effectively. Like
and it still doesn't work on peak. Yeah,
exactly. That was their intention with this mantle change, was to make it easier to run up hills like outside and shit, which it is, but not much easier because there still are inconsistencies when it comes to rocks, cliff faces, and just terrain outside, where it's like, I know that they want me to be able to mount here or to mantle here, and I can't. So there are fewer things that you can't mantle that you want to outside that they wanted to allow you to mantle, but they're still pretty inconsistent when it comes to like climbing shit outside. But it's less inconsistent now. So that's good. But there's more work to be done here for sure.
Yep.
And as far as buildings and shit goes, yeah, it's very noticeable. You can mantle a lot of shit you couldn't before, which is cool, I guess. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. I think it's maybe even probably good. But as Tanner said, it will take some getting used to. You're like, oh shit, I can hop up here now. That's something. So yeah, it'll take some getting used to, but it's this mantling thing still needs some work.
Yeah.
There are still some 6-inch rocks that I can't mantle on peak right now, and we need to be able to.
Yeah, you can't get over a curb in Capital, but I can jump up a roof of a building now where my arms stretched out and jumping can't reach, but I can still somehow mantle on that. So yeah. Got it.
So it's a little inconsistent, but overall a good change. A step in the right direction.
For sure.
The collision is also better. So they had mentioned in the patch notes, like, oh yeah, we're going to like fuck with the collision and shit. I don't remember what that's actually verbatim exactly what it said in the patch notes. We're going to fuck with the collision and shit. And it does seem to be a little better, actually, because I was driving a vehicle and I was trying to go up peak, of course, because that's where the next circle was, smile. And there was a giant fucking palm frond, and I said, fuck, are we about to just come to a dead stop? And I just drove right through that bitch. And I promise you, I would have gotten stuck on that beforehand. So they did do something with collision. And there are more palm leaves I can drive through now. I didn't notice this too often, to be honest with you. There's still a lot of shit you can't drive through. But they did do something, I'm pretty sure. And it did seem better. There was one very specific circumstance I'm thinking of where I drove through a leaf that I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been able to drive through pre-season 2. Have you noticed anything like this?
I haven't really noticed it, but it's also because I've been in vehicles far less because I've been hitting all the balloons and shit. So
that's true.
Haven't noticed it a ton, but I would guess they did fix it. And we also haven't played Vanguard Royale again because Vanguard Royale is dog shit and you shouldn't play it. So I don't know if the vehicle collision there specifically is a lot better. I hope it is because it was horrible before. They said they fixed it, so I don't know though. Haven't tested that. Yeah,
another thing we don't really know about is the increased vehicle handling for those Vanguard Royale vehicles. We haven't played it, nor will we, so we can't speak to that. So hopefully that's going well for you lunatics who play that. So there you go. The bunkers. These are cool. I like how they handled them. This is kind of, I think, again, something we've already talked about a little bit, but if you go into a bunker, there is decent loot, and it is better loot and more money and more stuff than if you looted a building of the same size. So there's a reason to go there above and beyond just some other building. And the downside is that there's only one way in or out, and you have to like climb up a manhole to do it, to get out. So it's something that it's higher risk, higher reward. The loot isn't insane. There's nothing overpowered in them, but it's definitely worth going there because the loot is a lot better than average. And because of how little loot there is on this map, it's even more worth going there than maybe it otherwise would be because of the loot density and quality in these little bunkers. And the AI is fine, whatever. So I think the bunkers were just like handled pretty well. They're nothing groundbreaking or crazy. They don't impact my gameplay experience that much, but in the ways that they do, they impact it for the better. I think it's a good risk reward kind of trade-off going to one. And I think they were just handled pretty well, but I'm not crazy about it or anything, but they were done well. So what are your thoughts?
I also think they're done well. I still don't think we've looted one and had 10K to buy a loadout right away, but you definitely will get more money in a small area like that than you would if you loot like an entire neighborhood and come up with $3,000, as I said earlier. So you also do get guaranteed streaks pretty much. Like we walk out of there and pretty much every person has a streak. You get it's like at least two, typically 2 and 3, but I think we've all gotten out of there with a streak. Like yesterday, Raz had UAV or something, and he's like, "Here, there's 2 clusters here. Someone take them." It's like, okay, cool. So we grab the clusters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the way they handled them. I like how there's no stupid shit where we have to enter a type on the keypad to get into it. So I like that they're just open. It's like there's less people going to them because they're open, and it's like, oh, you don't have to enter a key code or like pick something up to be able to open it. I don't like the one at the waterfall over by.
What is that?
I think that's like west. I think it's northwest of Capitol. That waterfall one. Now we've gone to like 2 or 3 times, and no one has ever been there when we've hit that one.
That one's hard to find.
It is hard to find. It did take us a while. You have to like run through the water to get it. It's not very noticeable, but
yeah. This is a bad point that I forgot to mention, so I'm going to throw it in here quickly. There are too many goddamn cluster strikes as ground loot all of a sudden. I'm so tired of cluster strikes. There are way too many cluster strikes. Remove them. Don't replace them with precisions. That would be worse. Don't replace them with UAVs. That would be better, but still, well, maybe that would be fine, actually. But whatever you do, stop it with all the goddamn clusters. There are more clusters now as ground loot, absolutely, than before Season 2, and you can't change my mind. Have you noticed this?
Yes. And of course, they've been bugged since they were put in the game. They still are bugged, too. It was like you and Pop, I think, maybe. You and L, both of you had clusters. Neither of you could just call them in that one game. There was nothing going on. There's no clusters anywhere close to us. There was no airstrikes, and you guys both just got stuck with them and couldn't call them in. So again, that's a day one bug right there that has been yet to be fixed. So I have been noticing that though. They're everywhere. Every time I'm in a house, pretty much, annoying. I get clustered.
Yep.
Yeah. They're just so inconsistent. Is like, I don't know. It's like, okay, am I going to sit in this building and get downed by it, or? You know, it's like always like the last drop will kill you when you're in a building.
Yeah.
That's just annoying.
It's super annoying. And you get the notification pretty far away from where it's called. Because I remember very specifically yesterday, I'm in a building shooting at another team. I get a notification, enemy cluster strike inbound or whatever. So I say, okay, cool. They called a cluster where I am. So surely I should move. Wrong decision. Because I ran exactly to where they actually called the cluster in attack sprint. So I got the noti from fucking far away and then ran right into it. I would have been fine if I just stayed there where I got the noti. So I don't know. Take the goddamn clusters out. Take them out of the whole game, honestly. Fuck clusters. But definitely take them out of the ground loot pool. So that's a bad thing. But anyways, back to the good. You do have to go out of your way to pick up gas canisters now. I have not picked one up accidentally yet. This is not something I would have thought to have added, but yesterday we landed factory, got loadout, went to the balloon, went to the other balloon, went to peak. We were on top of peak. There was no one there, and we didn't know where anyone was, even though no one had died yet in our game. Smile. And I saw like 1 billion gas canisters on top peak, and it reminded me. I was like, oh, yeah, let's see how hard this is to pick up. And I had to like actually try to pick it up. Like you have to be right inside of it to pick it up, which is good. So that implies to me it would be very hard to accidentally pick up now, which is nice. So they actually did that.
It would be dope if they did that with everything, instead of me having a car parked 10 feet away from my loadout drop, staring at the loadout drop, and then pressing the button and getting in my car, which happened to me yesterday. So, yeah, if it's that easy to do, Raven, can we do that with everything?
I agree.
I mean, it's a disaster. Yeah. It's a fucking disaster. Thanks, but let's do it with more now.
Yeah, this demonstrates that they have the capacity to change
with ease too. Apparently.
Easily, apparently. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be something. So now we know that too, which is another good thing, I guess.
Like I don't care if I don't care if I'm on top of the car. If I'm looking at the loadout drop, it should never put me in the car, which is what constantly happens to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really needs to be like where you're looking rather than what's close to you. It should always be like that. Yeah. So anyway, cool. Sick game. All right. And then last point here is kind of good. The weapon balance seems fine. I think overall, the weapons you can use in Warzone are more balanced than they were before Season 2. And I'm especially glad that Incendiary's been nerfed, because I am absolutely seeing fewer people use Incendiary now, which is nice.
That is nice.
So I think the weapon balance is better than pre-Season 2. However, it is still awfully stale, because when it comes to what weapons are the best in Warzone, I feel like they really haven't changed with Season 2. Nerfs and buffs aside. The Bren is still really fucking good. It wasn't nerfed enough. The best sniper is still the Swiss. You know, and the SMG meta hasn't changed. So, is weapon balance overall better? Yeah, because the Bren was nerfed, even though it wasn't enough. It's still worse, so cool. And Vanguard snipers were buffed, so they're still closer. Or they're closer to being as good as a Swiss now, but they're not there yet. Swiss is still better. So it's like, you know, I don't know. We're inching closer toward great weapon balance, which is a good thing, which is why it's in this section. But because every meta gun is the same as it was pre-Season 2, it feels stale, because we're still dealing with ultimately all the same shit being the best in slot right now. Do you agree?
Yeah, for the most part. Like, even with the C58, I haven't used it post nerf where they changed the recoil, but I actually just saw something on Twitter this morning, and the guy was like, I think they made the recoil easier to manage, actually. So he was saying it was not noticeable at all. If anything, it felt easier, so that's great. There's still a lot of people running that. I think that seems to be still the most used AR that I run into, that I see, like on people we kill or something, and I run over their bodies, I see a C58. So that's pretty common still. Yeah, I do think the Bren is still too good, but I'm actually not seeing a whole lot of people run it anymore. I don't know if they're kind of just scared because of all the patch notes with it, so they just switch off of it, or what it is, but I'm not seeing too many of them. But when I get beamed by it, you can tell you get beamed by it. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the weapon balance has been great for me because I just don't use Vanguard guns, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, I've been using one Vanguard gun specifically quite a bit since yesterday, and that was the Coupe. I've been on that Coupe carb. I've been using that as a sniper support with my Swiss K31. And it's been fun. Yeah, I use it with a little red dot. It's good for close to medium range. Are there better guns that kill faster that also have no recoil? Probably, but I don't know. The Coupe is fun to me, and I like running it. It's got decent mobility, high fire rate, so it'll get you out of a sticky situation up close if you miss some shots. And it's just fun to run. So other than that, I've been running like Cold War MP5 again, doing that. Cold War AK. Yeah, things like that. But yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of weapon balancing they did, but if you actually look at the patch notes, like we didn't go through most of them on Tuesday because it's just boring to listen to. But there are so many things where it's like they changed by like hardly anything, like not
0.005 seconds, literally.
Yeah, like small changes like that. And it's like, okay, I mean, thanks for like telling us, but I'm like, I wonder what their thought process was to change something such a small amount.
That is very weird.
Like you see that and you're like, oh, this gun got nerfed. But if you actually read it, then you're like, okay, cool. It really didn't change anything. It's just words.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think the weapon balance is really that much different than it was prior to this.
Yeah, exactly. So, and nothing's like super overpowered or busted, you know, so that's good. That's something. And there still isn't anything super overpowered. So that's good. That's something. And we're closer to like optimal weapon balance, I would say, on the whole. Things that needed to get buffed did. Things that needed to get nerfed did. But again, still feels stale because the best guns are still the same shit, which is why Tanner's been using the same gun still. Doesn't matter. Because that's what most players are doing. If you want to use the best shit, use exactly what you were using before season 2 and you're set. You're still using the meta shit. And that's just kind of unfortunate. So
yeah, for the most part.
That's kind of, and that leads to our overall impressions. Those are kind of mine. The balloons and the parachuting shit are really all that's, and now I don't have big game bounties. That's like the biggest thing that's happened with this patch. The new guns are not meta in Warzone. They're not good enough to use, really. You can use them, but there are better options.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like...
Dog shit.
I think of all the changes, most of them are good. Really, the only really bad thing that's happened with Season 2 is there's just no goddamn money. That's the most negative thing that has an actual impact with this season. But on the other side of the equation, we did get the balloons, which are excellent, and the parachuting change is really good too. So I don't know. I'm optimistic that they're going to increase the amount of money, hopefully relatively soon. We just need streamers to start complaining about it, and then it'll be hotfixed that afternoon. So
yeah.
So tweet at Swag and tell him to tell Raven to fucking increase the money or something. And then I'll be pretty happy with this season. But I'm kind of dismayed that the weapon meta is exactly the same as it was. And they're working toward the right meta, and it's going to take some time, and I understand that. But all in all, good season, but a little underwhelming, but the balloons are really good. So it's not that underwhelming, but a little bit. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Tanner?
Yeah, I don't think it's underwhelming at all. I think the balloons alone make it really, really good and really, really fun to feel like an entirely different game, honestly. So I'm having a blast with those. In terms of the weapon balancing, yeah, there was a lot done, but it doesn't really feel like that much was done. Because it's kind of like, it's like part of it was they did these things like they would nerf bullet velocity on a gun, but then they just buffed it through attachments and stuff. So at the end of the day, they made a lot of changes, but it's like that gun really actually changed that much? Not really.
Yeah.
It's just you're running the same barrel you were otherwise, and you still have the same velocity now because they nerfed it and then added more to that barrel. So it seems kind of just like a lot of work for minimal changes to the guns, really, but I don't know. I'm just glad we don't have like a super broken, overpowered gun. At least that someone has figured out
which is
yet.
worth mentioning. True.
And neither of the two new guns are broken, so that's fantastic to see too. But yeah, redeploy balloons, parachuting mechanics are definitely the best things to come out of this season. And yeah, I think like kind of what we've been guessing and saying for the last couple of months, this kind of is like the start of Caldera, it seems, is more people can play the game, more people are playing it right now. That definitely shows in the Twitch viewership. There's a tournament going on. I think that may be why the Twitch viewership's higher, but it's like 50,000 higher than it was like a week ago on Twitch right now. So there's definitely more people interested in playing it right now. I think it's a great season. Not a whole lot of complaints with it, really. I know the crashing will be fixed in a day or two. Vanguard guns just still aren't where I want them to be, but I'm done trying them. I don't care anymore. I'm done trying to make some of these work that should work. I'll just go back to Cold War guns. Yeah. They're pretty much just always better. And I guess that's really it. Everyone keeps talking about the little auto boy, saying it's back and it's the new meta again. Tried it yesterday. Feels fucking terrible still. I don't know where people are getting this shit from. Like, yeah, maybe it feels great within like 50 meters, but past that, the thing's terrible. Like it takes like a whole 60 round mag to down one person who's moving left to right, because you get 15 hit markers and the fire rate so high you miss every other shot. So I don't know what's going on with that. I think the gun's fucking awful. I don't know what people are on about that one for, but I've been sniping a lot again recently. Still don't know if it's better on this than Verdansk, but I'm finally, it feels like for the first time ever, finally hitting my shots on Caldera with the Swiss, because I didn't really use it much. Tried to use it for like a day. Wasn't doing real well, so I just got off it again for a while, but I've been using it since Season 2 came out, and I've been hitting shots. Even like yesterday, I was dinking kids from far away with this. It's like we were at mines. Yeah. I was on the hill opposite of mines, and Raz was like marking people for me. I got like 2 downs within 5 shots of a team that was on the other side of mines on the other hill.
It was like 400, 500 meters.
It was like 400 to 500 meters of the Swiss, and I got 2 downs within like 5 shots on it. So I've been hitting with it more lately.
Yeah.
It's been fun to use for sure. So I'm just back there. I think I wasn't having as much fun because I was trying to make just the Vanguard ARs work where they don't feel how I expect them or want them to feel. And I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I just won't use them anymore.
Yeah.
Because I shit talked people 3 weeks ago who were still using Cold War guns. Now I'm that person. So cool.
Yep. Got it. We'll edit those out of those old episodes. So.
Yeah. Those are all being edited.
We're never wrong, and we never make mistakes. So
we'll be re-uploading those.
All right, that's it, boys and girls. Reminder: we got a lot of Patreon episodes coming up, including for Platinum and Damascus patrons, a tournament prep episode. So if you want to get in on that, and even if you're not playing in the tournament, it's going to be a valuable episode to listen to, because it's going to be tips and tricks on how to like do really well in Warzone. So that will be available next week. Patreon.com/thedropshot. 7 bonus episodes a month, monthly hangouts, and more. Take a peek at the website for details. You can find all of our shit at thedropshot.com, the official home of the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast, including the Discord. Join the fucking Discord. We have a tournament coming up for each and every patron who wants to play. You can find the rules and signups in the Discord. There's a tournament section. You can find it there. Sign up. Signups close on, I think, the 25th of February, and then the tournament takes place on the 5th of March, and it's going to be an absolute broadcast and event. We've also got one sponsorship slot available if you want to sponsor the tournament. We'll do a commercial for you. You'll be on the tournament overlay, and it's a lot of good promo for you, a lot of bang for your little buck. So DM Tanner, $100 to do that if you were interested as well. Boys and girls, that is it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Humble.